Hey guys, Euroleague round one was just done, so the season is officially started. First round, Maccabi Partizan was my favorite game. I just love Maccabi basketball. Good two players having the roles, and even though Baldwin was not there, we have Brown doing another MVP appearance, and really they were clicking. Everything was clicking for them. Amazing game. Partizan needs potentially a little bit more time, but that's something common with as eliminate teams. They always roll towards the second half of the year. But yeah, I think they got many things they can work on. Then another thing that I keep from round one is Keenan Evans. He is back. He seems healthy after his serious injury last year, and he scored 25 points, lifting Zalgiris pretty much in Italy versus Bologna, and they stole that win. And of course, in the other two derbies, we have Bayern winning over Alba due to their quality, I would say, in the end. And Barca won against the FES. Maybe a little bit more difficult than the score shows, but in the fourth quarter, really, FES couldn't keep up with Barcelona. And perhaps FS has a little bit of work to do in terms of understanding the roles in the team, blending maybe Darius Thompson better. So yeah, that would be a tough one. And finally, of course, we have Cervena Zvezda firing from everywhere in the first half, scoring 3-pointers after 3-pointer. As well couldn't keep up, and Villarban seems to be a little bit weak at the start, as we would expect. But of course, next in this week they're playing home, so we'll see maybe if that helps them. In the second day, we had two big games going into overtime. So one, we had the derby in Greece between Panathinaikos and Olympiacos, going for the visitors after a very nice performance in the overtime. And on the other hand, we had Fenerbahce with Emporio Armani. Mirotic having his Euroleague debut with Armani, scoring I think 27 or 28 points, having an amazing game. But Fenerbahce managed to win, and as Darius Garuolis have tweeted, these two teams had 27 efficiency points difference. So actually, surprisingly, it was Milan that has the best performance efficiency, and they lost. And these 27 differences in a win is tied highest in the EuroLeague history. This happened before in 2023 when Lokomotiv lost from Galatasaray. And then we had another two games that were quite close. Valencia managed to get the game against Monaco, and Real Madrid managed to escape Baskonia in a very tight game in the end, where actually the teams were stuck around the same score for a bit, and Howard didn't get the last 3-pointer, and Real just got out victorious. But that was for the round one. So what about round two, Konstantinos? What are your picks?
Well, the game that highlights day one of round two is Anadolu Efes versus Real Madrid. Definitely is the biggest game. Also, as you see, Partizan will look for the first win in EuroLeague. And from the game Alba Berlin versus Baskonia, we believe Penaroya is a good choice for coach with 6.8 credits. Is an affordable choice, definitely. And also from the game Panathinaikos versus Bayern is the second back-to-back home court game for Panathinaikos. We believe Ataman is, of course, with 9.7 credits, is an expensive choice. But if you want to spend big for a coach, Ataman should be your choice. From round two, from the day two of round two, keep an eye on Zalgiris Kaunas versus Crvena Zvezda. It will be a very interesting game to watch. Um, Also, we have the big game, Olympiacos versus Barcelona, is the same, if I can say the same, as Anadolu Efes versus Real Madrid in day one. These two games are the big games in day one and day two. And also, Monaco will look for the first win in their home court, and Valencia could double their wins in Euroleague. As you see, also we have the Emporio Armani versus Maccabi. This game is suspended due to the unfortunate incidents and the conflict that's happening at the moment in Israel. That game, as you see here, the game is suspended, as I said, and the players will take the average they had in day one. That means, for example, Lorenzo Brown had 27.5, if I remember correctly. So this is the score that Lorenzo Brown will bring to the team. And also, that's why from the, let's say, mid-market, our choice is Odet Katash, the coach from Maccabi, with 7.9 credits. If you want to select Katash, you will get 20 points from the coach.
Exactly, and that's guaranteed points. So it's a 7.9, you get 20. It's a good deal for a coach.
Definitely, because the coaches can give you the boost that you need if, despite the players and how well you have built up your own team.
Yeah.
In this case.
So I think you've said it already. So Katas is actually not so expensive, and it guarantees 20 points. So yes, that's what we did then in our main team. We brought in pretty much all. What did we do? We brought in Sinibo, Blood, Kata. So we brought old Maccabi, and of course we brought in Mirotic. So
if we had four changes, I believe Hazonia will be out as well.
Yes,
Of course, I'm joking. I'm just joking. But this is, yes, as Bill said, yeah.
Yeah, we have to see what happened in first fixtures. So we had Panther and Campazzo, right?
Yeah.
So both had bad games. So it's very rare. But it's an opener. So in a season opener, anything happens really. So because of that, we are actually down in the ranking. So we need something. We need to get back and close. So this time, yes, we're gonna cheat. We're not proud of it, but we have to do it because Mirotic will give us like 76 points. Nibo will give us another 25 points. Cut us another 20. So we are already above 120. And then we have here Blood. He is gonna give us 13 points. So you understand, we're talking about 130 plus to 35. And still we'll have to wait for Milutinov, Hizonia, Panther. So we're hoping something good comes out of it and we bounce back from the bad start. Yeah, with a heavy heart, we give away, but this is a risk because this kind of players like Campazzo, Panther is rare. They have so mediocre games back to back. It's still a risk. Maybe that Panther still has a bad game and Campazzo doesn't, but you never know. So we had to make our pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the two these two players or both of them, you never know, they need to bounce back in round two. They need to because, for example, Partizan is looking for their first win in Euroleague, and Cambatso is that impactful of a player in Real Madrid that he needs to step up, not just by scoring, but by being creative as well, and having a lot of assists,
Yeah.
as Cambatso always does.
Yeah, so we see how that goes. So as we just said earlier, if you have any of the players from the Milano Maccabi game, Maccabi Tel Aviv game, you need to include them in your main team if you want to have the full points from them. The points will only be assigned on the first turn. So if for any reason you forget someone on the bench, let's say that was Nibo that gives you 25, you are not able on the second turn to get him in the main team. So you need to make sure you have them there at the start. The same with captain, because um, the the fantasy points will be given in the end of the turn one. You need to already have Mirotic as your captain, and I think we will have pretty much most of the teams in fantasy having as their captain Mirotic. It's quite rare you can have guaranteed how many 76 points.
76 points.
Yeah, it's just okay. It will cost you 16.3 credits. Yes, it's expensive, but I don't know. I can't find a reason not to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you start with 76. That's close to, let's say, close to 100. And if you had Katash, then you have a 96. For example, if you want the coach and Mirotic, and then you can build the team, the rest of the team, again, with two
Yeah,
changes remaining, um, with the players that you want, even if they're not from Maccabi and Armani
yeah,
as well.
yeah. And I mean, Nibo and Mirotic are also two players that will potentially keep at least Mirotic. Now we'll see though how things going. But we have a horrible bench, to be honest. Um, Horrible. I mean, not horrible, but in terms of very cheap players, and also if Larzakis doesn't have a really good performance, then probably he will devaluate. So we have a small problem with our bench that potentially we'll be able to fix from next turn. We'll see.
As Bill said, this is very important. For example, if you just bring players from Maccabi and Armani, then you may need, let's say, the next two rounds to again make your team having, let's say, if you want a full team with 7 or 8 players. Because now, if you remove some key players with a lot of credits just to bring Mirotic and Nibo, then you will see the bench, for example, the bench we have. And as Bill said, we need to make some adjustments to see at least. So keep also in mind that you can bring these players, but you have to think also long term if you want to keep them.
I can ask you at this point, uh, Konstantinos, where is the rest of the Maccabi team?
Well, I've heard that Sorkin, Colson, and Brown are in our deep value team at the moment.
Well, Olson was there already, so okay.
Yeah. Colson was the one that told me. But the most important thing is that Voigtman, I see, is there. So Johannes Voigtman had a big game versus Fenerbahce, and he ended up with 21 fantasy points, if I'm not mistaken. So as you see here, we have Lorenzo Brown as our captain because he had an amazing game, and had 27.5 fantasy points. That means as a captain, he will give us 55 points, and then Katash another 20, so we go up to 75. And I just realized that Mirotic alone beats both of them because he has 76 as a captain. Um, so also we have Voidman. We have Sorkin with 19. Voidman had 21 fantasy points. I think 18.7 Sorkin, and Colson had 13. But as you see, the changes that we made, we couldn't change. We had Colson from the beginning, so instead we kept Colson and we wanted to um, trade Shields in this game, who had a bad game in round one, and we brought his teammate Voidman. Um, and we have one player who actually will play a game in round one, and that's Bonga, who had a good game in the first round. I think he had 18.7 fantasy points.
Yeah.
He had a good game for Bayern. Yes. Um, with a
It was
double
a double
double.
double.
Yeah, exactly. 11 points, 10 rebounds, one assist, one steal, just two turnovers in 26 minutes. But that's how good Bonga is, and that's how well he performs in Pablo
We,
Lasso's system.
we talked about him in the previous
Yeah.
episode. That we see
Mhm.
him as potential rising star.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
and then
then, yeah, here I must say that we have a better bench, and I will say all around team in a way, because okay, if you take close look, we have Marinkovic, who gets playing time. Of course, he had bad round one, but still he will get his playing time. Also, Mote Yunus, he he is the kind of player who can give you from 9 to, let's say, to 12, 13 fantasy points. Walker is the main point guard of Olympiacos, and in round one, I believe he had 17 fantasy points. So he has the quality to give. Yeah,
yeah,
17.6. So he has the
it seems
quality to
like a
give back.
safe option, right? Because he does
Mhm.
many things. Like you see, he got 3 steals, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, one with 17 points. Um, yeah,
In 39 minutes with the overtime that he played.
yeah,
And then we have Da Silva also. He gets some minutes for Barcelona. And uh, yeah,
yeah.
4 points, for
21.
example, 21 minutes. So he gets his playing time. And then we have also Moraes from Panathinaikos. I believe more he's a filler for the team.
Yeah.
But as you see, this team, of course, we have the rule that we cannot have the same players in both our teams. We can have the same coach, but not the same players. Um, but as you
Why?
see,
Because we make the rule.
we may that's true. But as you see here, we have also the option in round two. For example, if Bonga doesn't perform well or Marinkovic, then we can substitute with Walkup and Mote Yunus, for example.
I mean, we need to see how the whole situation with the Maccabi team goes, and whether they find temporary or more semi-permanent solution for their home and away games. Sorry, for their home games, like moving somewhere potentially. I don't know whether that's Cyprus or Greece or Serbia or wherever that is. Um, so if that happens within a next week or so, maybe we'll have fixtures the week after. But if not, then perhaps we're gonna take out Colson because his average is low.
But that's as Bill said, that's why I mentioned. Keep in mind also the long term on how you build the teams, because for example now, as you see, we traded Shields, Fall, and Jones, but we could not trade Colson in this case to bring another player because we wanted Voigtman, Sorkin, and Brown in this team.
Yeah.
So as Bill said, maybe depending how this situation plays out, then we will try to make the best team possible again.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess until then, guys, enjoy round two, EuroLeague basketball action, and see you again next week. And you can, of course, follow us on Twitter, and we're gonna post again our budget options per position.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. Enjoy all the games and see you soon.
Thank you all. Bye.